Hi Warren, thanks for the footage. Sorry for the delay in getting the items across to you. As I discussed it earlier in the emails I sent you, I've been away with the family, and then upon my return we've had a few technical difficulties with the software that we run. However, we finally got there, and we just look at some key pieces, and what I've done is I've put Charlie Wee beneath you, and really at this stage we need to be looking at your setup and your takeaway. There's a lot of good things in your action, however there's a lot of simple things that you can do at setup and in the early part of your swing, particularly in regards to the way your feet are fluid and the way the legs work, that can help you a lot with your ability to get that ball drawing a little bit more. First of all, if we look at Charlie down on the bottom left, there's much more flex in the ankles. You can see there he's bending his knees, but he's also flexing in the ankles. Now if you've read the Stack and Tilt book, you'll definitely, if you go to setup, pick up on that they do stress that you want to be, you need some structural rigidity, you need to have some sort of flex in the ankles, feeling like you're grounded at setup. We look a little bit here, back on the heels, not a great deal of flex in the ankles. So I'd like to see you feel like you're leaning into the ball a little bit more, looking a little bit less back on your heels. That may in turn require you to get a little bit further away from it, so the hands are hanging more out beneath your chin, which would then allow you to get the hands working in a little bit easier also. So a little bit more flex in the ankles. When viewed from face on, the big difference we see here is the way the feet are fluid. We can see again, if you relate this to the book or to the DVDs, you mentioned that the feet need to be turned out approximately 15 degrees as a baseline. You've got the feet turned out slightly, but nowhere near enough, particularly that right foot. I would suggest at this stage that we get those feet turned out at least 20 degrees. Try and feel like you're going to overdo it a little bit. You can see there, if you want to compare it with an image, look at Charlie's image there. When the knees are turned out, when the feet are turned out, the knees are also turned out more, which frees up the hips to turn a little bit more in the backswing. We just clear the lines off your screen there, and we look at the swing itself, and where again we can start to improve things. First thing that should happen, the hands should work in, and as the hands work in, the right knee should start to straighten and the left knee should start to flex. You can see that there's very little movement in the knees. The legs aren't changing angles at all up to waist level. When viewed from face on, it's very armsy again. Very little going on with the legs. Right knee's not straightening, left knee's not flexing, hips still very level at that point. If we watch Charlie down on the bottom left from down the line, you can see the minute that club starts to move, the left knee flexes forward and the right knee starts to straighten. The key thing to remember here is the right knee is straightening. It doesn't have to be straight, but it has to be straightening. And what that does is that starts to get that right hip working a little bit higher, allowing the hips to turn. Remember, when we're bent forward and flexed forward, we've got a limited capacity to turn. So if you watch Charlie now from setup to waist level, left knee moves forward, right knee straightens, and if we look at him here now, we've got a little bit more tilt in the hips. Again, that's allowing your hands to work in, or his hands to work in a little bit more. If you look at the difference between the two hand positions at belt height, your hands have gone out, they haven't come in enough, so you're not swinging in a circle, you're keeping the arms on a line for too long. At the top of the backswing, the hands working in more and the hips turning more. Producing a slightly flatter look in regards to the left arm. A little bit more rounded. You can see how much more hip turn Charlie's got at this stage compared to yourself. From face on, Charlie's right leg is going to continue to straighten, left knee flex forward. Foot flares allowing him to do that, you must remember, so you've got to get those feet flared out a little bit more with yourself. You can see even at this stage that right hip hasn't moved, it hasn't worked up and back, and there really now you've got very little chance of hitting a draw. Having said that, the move you make from the top is a really positive one. You get some nice linear movement in there. You're trying to do some good things, but the early part of your swing is not allowing you to do that. So, key thoughts from that analysis are: a little bit more room between you and the golf club at setup. Feel like the hands are going to be a little bit more out in front of you, under your chin, so there's more room between you and the club to assist you to get the hands to work in. More flex in the ankles, as we see with Charlie. Both feet turned out approximately 20 to 25 degrees. Key thought in the early part of your swing, and I'm going to bring Charlie up here now on the full screen. Key thoughts for the early part of your swing are: hands in, straighten the right leg. Hands in, straighten the right leg. Now, if you want to get a nice feel for that early in the piece, what I suggest you do is take your normal setup, then adjust it so that you've got a little bit more flex in the ankles, a little bit more room between you and the ball, and then go ahead and straighten your right leg completely at address. Then try hitting some half shots with the right leg completely straight. If you do that, what you're going to do is, as you straighten the right leg, you're going to get this right hip in a position that you want it to be in at the top of your swing before you even start moving, and that then in turn is going to familiarise you with the feel and the position required during the backswing. It also frees you up to concentrate a little bit more on your hand path. So more flex in the ankles, a little bit more room between you and the golf club, hands in, straightening the right leg as you go back. Good luck with it. If you feel free to pop us some more video across as you progress, and I look forward to seeing how things move during the next week or so. Well done.